Hello, everybody. This is Rebel, and I want to talk about the Bible, and I put up a post that I got from somebody else's page, and it was talking about how Psalms is nothing but spells, which it is, and the best way to prove it is to come from the Bible. Where the spells is at and the voodoo is at it, because when you talk to a Christian, a lot of times they will act like they don't know what you're talking about, and it's all in the Bible. Even in the New Testament is there. It's all in the Old Testament, but even in the New Testament it's there. But we're told we are told that it's not voodoo, it's not this, it's not that. Now, keep in mind, Psalms, that's the book of spells. It's a lot of spells in that book, and you just have to know how to work it, okay? And the author of Psalms is King David and Solomon. So that's why I'm going to show you how they sacrifice animals themselves. And then I'm going to go to Psalms and show you where it talk about sacrificing animals, I want to start out by letting you know what sacrifice is, giving you the definition of sacrifice. And sacrifice is the act of slaughtering a person, an animal, or surrendering possessions to a god or a divine supernatural deity. Now, let me say that again. Sacrifice is sacrificing, is slaughtering, the act of slaughtering a person or an animal, or surrendering your possessions to a god or a supernatural divine deity. That's what sacrifice means. Okay. So first we're going to go to Samuel, 2 Samuel. We're going to go to 2 Samuel verse 2 Samuel. I'm tired too because I just got off work, but I want to do this. 2 Samuel chapter 16 verse 13. That's the first one I want you to go to. Okay, so let's go to this 2 Samuel, and let me tell you about Samuel while I'm finding the verse. Samuel, he was a prophet from the womb. His mother name was Hannah. Hannah could not conceive a child. Her husband loved her, but she could not conceive a child. And her husband, he had two wives. Hannah was one of the wives, and he loved Hannah more than he loved the wife who bared him children. And what had happened is every year they would go to the house of the Lord and have a feast and gather with everybody else. And the women would make mockery of her. So what had happened is, this time when they went to the house of the Lord, Hannah had left abruptly and went to the altar and began to cry out to God. And she told God if he gave her a child, she would give that child to him as a sacrifice, So when Eli the priest came and saw her praying to God, he thought she was a drunk woman, but she had not even had a drink. So when Hannah and her husband came together and had sex, she conceived Samuel. When Samuel was weaned, she brought him back to Eli the priest to give to God. And by her giving that sacrifice, what God blessed her with was 3 sons and 2 daughters. Now, remember, I said sacrifice. It can also be a surrender of possessions to a god or deity. She surrendered Samuel, and in return, God gave her 3 sons and 2 daughters. Okay. So that's when you talk about 2 Samuel, that's talking, it is after the prophet Samuel. So what I want to go to is chapter 6, verse 13. Okay, so let me go to that. Chapter 6, verse 13. All right. All right. Now, let's read this. And this was dealing with King David and dealing with the ark of God. The ark. It was an ark. It was like it was also idolatry, but it was the ark of God was it was like a something built for God, and nobody could really handle it but the prophets and the Levitical priests, and then they handed it over to the Levitical priests, So the Levitical priests was the only ones that could handle the ark, the covenant of God. It was just the Levitical priests. So King David, I'm going to read, this is about, is in 2 Samuel, but it's pertaining to King David. Now, let me give you a story of King David. King David, he was the second king of Israel. And the first king was Saul, which had got killed. So King David was the second king of Israel. And he was the son of Jesse from the tribe of Judah. And we know the story about Esau and Jacob and how Esau lost his birthrights. And Jacob married Leah and Rachel. He was tricked in marrying Leah. And in return, he was tricked in marrying Leah by the father. And what had happened is he married Leah and Rachel because he really wanted Rachel. And he got both of them, Leah and Rachel. But he had two servants, two handmaids that both of them had. And he had all his children came from all four of these women. Okay? But Judah came from Leah. And Leah wasn't that cute to look upon. And Jacob, Jacob really didn't care for her like that. He wanted Rachel to find her. Okay? So King David is from the tribe of Judah, but King David's father is Jesse. Jesse is the son of Ruth and Obed, and Ruth was the Moabite, Lot's lineage. That's where Ruth came from. But Ruth was married to Obed from the tribe of Judah, because that's where they say Jesus was born from the tribe of Judah. That's the lineage where Jesus came from. So what had happened was, King David, when he was king, he had the Ark of the Covenant, which was the ark. Nobody really handled that. You had to be a Levitical priest to handle that. So the men was carrying the ark. And when they was carrying the ark, when they took their sixth step, let me just read it, okay? Chapter 6, verse 13. Okay, it say, and it was so that when they bare the ark of the Lord had gone 6 paces, he sacrificed oxen and fatling. And when they say he, is talking about King David. Okay. So this is talking about King David, and it's talking about sacrifices. Since y'all say that it's not in the Bible, it's not no voodoo in the Bible, I'm showing you right there where King David sacrificed animals to God when they had the Ark of the Covenant. Now let's go to his son Samuel. We're going to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 5. Okay. And we're going to go this, and we're going to read about King Solomon. And let me tell you the story on King Solomon. King Solomon was the son of David. He wasn't his first son, but Solomon was the son of Bathsheba and King David. King David and Bathsheba had a son before Solomon, and the son had died because of how they created him. Bathsheba was a married woman, and David had sex with her and got her pregnant, and then tried to cover it up and kill her husband, and then went and married Bathsheba. And what had happened is their first son died because it fell sick and died because of that. And then after he died, then that's when they had King Solomon. And that's how King Solomon came about. But we're going to read chapter 7, verse 5. And you hear that beautiful rain coming down. I love rain. I love it. And let me read chapter 7, verse 5 in 2 Corinthians. Okay. So, and it said, King Solomon offered a sacrifice of 20 and 2,000 oxen and 100 and 20,000 sheep. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I'm saying it wrong. Let me say that over. And King Solomon offered a sacrifice of 20 and 2,000 oxen and 120,000 sheep. So the king and all the people dedicated the house of God. Now, the house of God is the temple of God. Okay, that's what it's pertaining to. And what had happened is King David wanted to make a house, a temple for God, but his hands was so, he had killed so many people with his hands. God told him no, and said that his son would build him a house, a temple, and Solomon built the temple. Now, King Solomon is the King Solomon and King David is the author of Psalms. Now, let's go to Leviticus chapter 7, because this is where Thanksgiving, the term Thanksgiving, sacrificing, and the term of Thanksgiving, that's where it comes from. So we're going to go to Leviticus chapter 7. Because I don't want you to think that I'm pulling your leg, but it's in here. And what I want to talk about is the Thanksgiving sacrifice. Okay? Bear with me. So when you all say that it's not voodoo in the Bible and the Bible is not of spells, it most certainly is. Okay, 7. Okay, now here it go. Now this is chapter 7, verse 12. And it's talking about the offer of thanksgiving. So we don't have no confusions, okay? Because I'm going to read it in Psalms, and I don't want us to have no confusion, okay? Now, if you go to chapter 7, verse 12, and it say, if he offer it for a thanksgiving, then he shall offer with the sacrifice of thanksgiving unleavened cake mingled with oil, and unleavened wafers anointed with oil, and cake mingled with oil of fine flour fried. Beside the cake he shall offer for his offering leavened bread with the sacrifice of thanksgiving of his peace offering. And of it he shall offer one out of the whole oblation for a heave offering unto the Lord, and it shall be the priest that sprinkled the blood of the peace offering. Okay, Thanksgiving offering, peace offering is the same thing. And the flesh of the sacrifice of his peace offering of thanksgiving shall be eaten the same day that it is offered, and he shall not leave any of it until the morning. But if the sacrifice of his offering is a vow or a voluntary offering, it shall be eaten the same day that he offered his sacrifice, and on the morrow also the remainder of it shall be eaten. Okay? Now, when you all say that is no voodoo in the Bible, you hear that when he said sprinkle blood on the altar. Okay? Ain't that what the voodoo priest and all of them do? Ain't that what they do? So what's different from people that practice voodoo and people that is that the kings of this Bible? What is the difference? They doing the same thing. It's the same thing that's being done, but yet you can't see it in the Bible. Okay, now let's go to Psalms, and remember, the author of Psalms is who most of it was written, was about King David and Solomon. They the ones who they claim that they the ones who written it. Now let's go to Psalms, and we're gonna go to chapter we're gonna go to chapter 116. Chapter 116. I think it's verse 22, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go to that one first. Now let's go to chapter 107, verse 22 first. Let's go to that one, and then we'll go to 116. Okay. And I'm doing this all from the Bible. All of this is in the Bible. As you can see, this is a Bible in front of me. King James Version. Okay. Now, well, since I'm here, let's just do 116. We're going to do 116 verse 17. Okay. Now, when you say it's not in here, I'm about to read it, that it is in here, of them sacrificing animals and doing voodoo in Psalms, okay? So this is 116, chapter 116, verse 17. Now it's saying, I will offer to thee the sacrifice of thanksgiving. Now we didn't already read in Leviticus chapter 7 about thanksgiving. Now I will offer to thee the sacrifice of thanksgiving and will call upon the name of the Lord. Now let's go to chapter 107, and I believe that's verse 22. I'm sorry, my nose just be itching. Okay, now let's go here. Okay, 107. Okay, 107, verse 22. Now let's read this. And let them sacrifice the sacrifices of thanksgiving and declare his works with rejoicing. So when you say that it's not voodoo in the Bible, it's all in the Bible. We can go back to Abraham. When Abraham, God told him to go and sacrifice Isaac. And the angel had to come and stop Abraham, because Abraham was going to take his own child. And the angel had to come and stop him. When he lifted that knife up, the angel had to come and stop him. And then and in the place of Isaac, he had to sacrifice a ram that was stuck in a bush. Okay? Now, let's go to Matthew 22. And we're going to read Matthew 26, chapter 26 through 29. Let's go there. Because you all talk like it's not no voodoo in this Bible, and it's all through the Bible. Okay. And I just want to say something. After I'm finished doing this, I want to say something. Now I'm going to read chapter 26 to 29. No, chapter 26, verse 26 through 29. Okay. So, and it say, this is chapter 26. And as they were eating, Jesus took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to his disciples and said, take, eat, this is my body. You read that. Take, eat, this is my body. Okay. And he took the cup and gave a drink and gave it to them, saying, drink ye all of it. For this is my blood in the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until this day, when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. Okay? Now, he's telling you, when you take bread, you taking his flesh. And when you drink the wine, you drinking his blood. Is that not sacrifice? And y'all do it every month on a Sunday, but that's not sacrifice. That most definitely is sacrifice. Okay. So the next time when you saying there's no voodoo in this Bible, it's all through it. And this is what I want to say when it comes to Jesus. See, because a lot of people don't know Jesus is the same thing as Zeus. It's a Greek god that you're worshiping. It's a Greek god. Barabbas and all of them. That was before Jesus' time. And I know people can say, well, the letter J didn't come out until the 1400s. Yes, that is true. But The Greek God, the way they pronounce Jesus' name is different from how we do it in the, English people do it. People that speak English is different. And people have a different way of saying it. But when you represent Jesus, you're doing nothing but representing a God named Zeus, a Greek God named Zeus. Okay? Jesus was invented in the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. Okay? That's when he was created. So when you serving him, that's who you basically serving. That's why you notice when you pray to him, because I used to pray for hours because this is what they told us to do. And when you pray to him, nothing happens because it's not your God. Okay? Also, I want to say this, because we sit up here. This book is a book of spells. And see, your pastor ain't going to tell you that. See, because not only is you getting played with this pastor in front of you, but the pastor is getting played. And I say that's why they 501c. That's what these pastors, that's what they get for teaching you all these lies. Meaning that when they taxes, when they take all this money from you, do you know they don't pay no taxes? This is free money to come and lie to you. This is free money to come and tell you what you want to hear. That's why you see so many people getting into that religion. And even though now, because so many people is waking up, it's not as powerful as it used to be, it still got some legs to it. Because people is still worshiping this stuff. But it's so many people that's waking up to the BS. So when you celebrating this, when you talking about this Bible, see, because a lot of Christians don't even know the word. That's what a lot of people don't know. That's why when they come on your page and they telling you to prove it, that's why they tell you to prove. It's not that they don't know the word. It's because they see, if you don't know and they don't know, then they all good. And see, they don't want you, if you can prove it, they don't want to see it. It's not that they even want to wake up. It's not even that. But they want you to prove it to make it seem as though you don't know. See, you talking this stuff, but you don't know. But I do know, because I was in the church for 10 years. I was celibate for 10 years, and I was serious about this walk. And I thought this man was real until I started learning the truth. Because the Bible got a cutoff to it. And you can only go so far. And once you go too far, they're going to kick you out the church. They don't want no rebels in the church. They don't want that. And most people, when you learn more and you want to learn, you turn into a rebel, and they don't want that. Okay? One more thing I want to say before I go. I don't want to get this to 30 minutes, but this is what I want to say. Okay? Now that I've been proven that it is witchcraft in this Bible, and Psalms is nothing but spells. Okay? The reason why you see so much sickness in the church, and you see a lot of people dropping off dead, and you see a lot of people broke with no money, is because when you go up there and you meditate in the Zeus, and you meditate to this Greek God, and you telling him, oh, well, if you do this, I do this. If you take cigarettes from me, then I'll do this. And when you don't smoke cigarettes no more, then you don't do what you said he gonna do. And then you come back with, oh, well, you know what? Jesus died for my sins. That's what you come back with. And don't know that you made a vow. When you traded with him and you didn't keep that. And so many people go to church and think that they can say whatever they want. If you read, I believe is Proverbs chapter 18. And if you read them verses, it say life and death lies in the power of the tongue. You don't know how powerful your mouth is. That's why certain things, you can say things and you can evoke somebody to fight you or do whatever, because your mouth is powerful. Stop thinking that this Bible is a light just because it's not. Okay? It's a book of witchcraft. And I want to show you something. You know, I bought this book years ago, and it's The Power of Psalms. See, when people think that this, I did have this for some years. Okay? And look at what it say. Powers of the Psalms. 375 ways to use Psalm for love, for power, for revenge, for success, blessings, prosperity, and protection, etc. I bought this. This is mine. Okay? So when you think that you can say anything out your mouth, when it comes to this Bible, it's not a religious book. It's not even a Christian book. It's a book of spells. Okay? It's not a Christian book. That's why they put a pastor in front of you to tell you what to read, because they don't want you to get too deep in this book. You all have a nice day.